Welcome to Stop the Noise, where small business specialists cut through the clutter to hone in on practical things small business owners can do to solve business challenges and move their business forward. In today's episode of Stop the Noise, we're talking to Kerry Ann Nelson from Operation Verve about hacks to document your business processes. And you'll walk away with an executable process you can implement right away to document all your business processes without going completely and utterly insane. So, Kerry Ann, let's have a look at this about how you're actually going to stop us going absolutely completely insane writing business processes, because I get that the whole thing about writing business processes, and I'm a processy person, as you know, but the whole thing about writing business processes is that they take so much longer to do than if you just did the job yourself, even if you hate it. So you're going to fix that. You are going to fix that for me today. Is that right?
I'll do my best.
So, which I guess, I mean, I probably sort of just given a hint of one of the reasons why bother documenting your business processes and what happens if you don't.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so I do admit that, yes, sometimes it does take you longer to document the process than if you were just quickly doing it yourself. That's absolutely true. But it's an investment. It's like, you know, that you spend money to make money. You know, in business, it's really easy to say, oh, I need some more customers, so I'm going to go and run an ads campaign, or I need more clients, so I'm going to do a shout out of all the people in my nurture, and you go out of your way. That's the point, right? You go out of your way, investing time and money to build revenue. Well, why on earth do we not go out of our way, investing time and possibly sometimes money, although it's very, very minimal, to build out your processes? Because when you do that, you get the time back almost instantly. So, classic example, over the last month, I've got a membership program, and over the last month, I've been making instruction videos, which is the shortcut to getting your workplace processes documented, making instruction videos of how to build one of my 28-day challenges for my members. It did probably add another 50% onto the amount of time that it normally takes me to build out one of those challenges that I run each month. But now I will never have to do that again. All I will need to do now is have someone interview me for that glorious content that I've got there that we all have as experts, get it out of my head, and then they're going to build the entire thing because I've got processes. It will literally save me 10 to 12 hours every single month just on that one task. So you get time back is what you get. And you also get head space back that you can think more clearly because you're not stuck with all of that everyday work.
Yeah, and it is that everyday work is really mentally draining as well. Yeah, absolutely.
And it's low level. It's all procedural stuff.
Yeah.
Your brain gets so busy doing these low level step 1, step 2, step 3 things. But the idea that you can multitask is actually a myth. Your brain can actually only do one thing at a time. So if you've got your brain choked up on procedural things that anyone else could do, then you can't focus on the things that only you can do in your business. So that headspace, it's not only valuable for you and your well-being, it's actually essential if you want to strategically grow your business, because you need the space to think and plan and have higher level thoughts going through and higher level conversations and planning.
Which probably leads to the next question, is who should actually be doing all this documentation?
Yes, it depends on where you're up to in your business. If you don't have another hire, then unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your perspective, you have to start the ball rolling yourself. So if you've never employed anyone before, you're the one running everything, you're a sole trader, and you want to set up for your very first hire, there are going to be some things you need to do to capture those work instructions. But the best workaround, even in those early days, that early start, is to record some of those processes in a screen capture video using Loom or Screencastify, even Zoom. You can record a video in Zoom and capture those. And then when you're training that very first new hire, you ask them as part of their training to write up the steps out of the video that you made. So even then at that stage, you're not the one writing up all those steps, labor intensive. You're asking them to do that. Then you're checking over that as part of their training to see, you can confirm, they actually do know, or no, that step won't quite work. Then you can revise it with them. So the whole thing is a lot more collaborative and less labor intensive for you.
That's a really clever, and that's a really clever training process as well, because that actually gets them thinking about what they're doing, not just blindly, obediently doing.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So now you're doing all this stuff. How do you organize it so you can, you know, like, does it just kind of like go into some big folder, or what do you do with it?
Yes. You would be amazed at the things that I see with my clients before they work with me. Oh my Lord. So yes. I always say that structure is the most important place to start with everything. And certainly that's true for managing your process documentation. So if you are you are recording videos in Zoom, then you're clearly going to download those videos out of Zoom. They need to live somewhere. They should live in the cloud so that they're accessible by anyone, anywhere in the world at any time, rather than on your desktop where they're locked away and only you can use them. So you should have them in the cloud, and then structure first. You should have them organized by business category. So a lot of the time people are hiring for helping with admin support. Helping with bookkeeping support is another really common one. Helping with social media, content marketing, basic website maintenance like uploading blogs and other website content. So you would have a folder for the work instructions for each of those different things. You would have a folder called social media and all your work instructions will go in there. You'll have another one called website and all your work instructions will go in there. So if you don't set up that structure from the start, it will take you about, if you're diligent and really wanting to delegate effectively, it'll take you about 3 or 4 months to create an absolute dog's breakfast, and you'll be completely stressed out and your hire won't know what to do and it will be a disaster. So we don't want that.
So organize from the beginning.
Absolutely.
Now,
and then
go on.
like when you're cooking in the kitchen, so you know where the plates are and you know that they're not in the same place as the knives and forks, and you know they're not in the same place as the pantry. So you categorize everything, but then you also clean up as you go, right? So you don't just have a clean kitchen and then it doesn't magically stay clean. You have to keep it clean by putting things where they go all the time.
You just made me think about cooking with my granddaughter, which I do every Thursday, and I get like, she just loves cooking with Nanny. So we get out all the ingredients all lined up in the order that they go in the recipe, so she can actually measure them into the bowl. So
Perfect.
Just popped into my head. Now, how do you keep these things up to date though? Because things change.
Exactly.
Do you have to remake everything from scratch, or?
Yeah, no, that's right. So your first 3 to 6 months of creating all of these work instructions, your instruction videos, and filing them in a way that's organized, your priority is creating those work instructions. Just get busy, because the more work instructions you create, the more you can delegate, the more you can offload, and then continue with that high level leadership. But if you come to that sort of 3-6 month mark, some of those work instructions will already be out of date. You'll have processes in platforms that the software itself has changed, or you might have a new hire who's found a better way of doing something, or I can't think of anything else, but there's a million reasons why things change in business. You might decide to dump a process altogether because it's just not useful. So there are 3 different ways that you can keep your processes up to date. The first one, if you did really, really well, you wouldn't even have to do the other 2. And that is, I call very sexily, the ongoing corrections. So if you are making sure that you are maintaining your instruction videos and your written work instructions as you go, like cleaning up in the kitchen, when you find that there's a mistake, when you find that something needs to be updated, make a commitment that by the end of that work week, or within 48 hours, or make a rule in your business and in your team that will then take priority, and you will update that straight away. Your process is more important than the tasks getting done. your process, I hate to say it, from a business leadership point of view, your process is even more important than the people, because if your processes are out of whack, your people will be out of whack, and they will start to become disillusioned. They'll be making mistakes. They won't trust the system anymore. They'll be frustrated and not like working there. So I guess a better way of phrasing it is, because the people in your team are so important, because your clients and the people in your business community are so important, when you find a mistake with your processes, ongoing corrections, you fix it right then and there. Then the other two quick little strategies that I often have people setting up are spot checks. So once or twice a year, you'll jump in and you'll literally flick around your SharePoint or your Google Drive. You'll open up some of those work instructions. They could be tucked away in your Monday or your ClickUp. You'll open up those work instructions and you'll see, could these work instructions be followed by someone else? Are they still up to date? Do they still work? So spot checks is a really good strategy. And then the other one, for some of your larger manuals, you'll be doing annual reviews for those. So once a year, you'll actually pull up some of those more centralized documents and you'll go through and you'll see, is this up to date? Now, if you've been doing ongoing corrections, they should be, but it's good to have a checkpoint there to make sure that they actually are up to date.
Just a question with that. We started by making videos that actually show how something got done. Then we wrote checklists. When you're doing this updating thing, do the videos have to be completely remade as well, or are we focusing now on the documentation?
It depends. It depends on the preferences of the owner and of the team. But in a perfect world, the answer is yes. And this is where you can find a really healthy balance here between instruction videos and written documentation. A video, it's really hard to go ahead and just edit one little piece of the video and then fuss around with it. You're better just to quickly record the 5 or 7 minute video again. So that can be a bit of a pain. Video instructions are quick to create, but slow to use and slow to update. Yeah. But then written work instructions are the exact opposite. They're slow to create, but if you need to update them, they're really quick because you can just change the 1 or 2 bits that need to be fixed up. So you've got to find a balance that suits your team. But if your video is out of date and you're expecting people to use that video to perform their normal everyday processes, then you have to update that video.
And I suppose screen captures from a process as well. It's easier to replace one image in a set of documentation than to replace a video.
Absolutely. And that's where your original process could have been done in a video. Then that video serves to give you the screenshots. Yeah. But then if you need to update just a little part, you can just do the process till you get to that bit, take out the screenshots for those 2 or 3 steps, put in the new ones, and you don't need to do that again.
Probably a much easier replacement there. Yeah.
Definitely.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance.
Just before we move on to actually working through the how-to guide, which is really, really, really valuable. Just one last question is about what kind of tools are there available to make this easier, fun, whatever? Like
yes, absolutely. So I have given a few there. Screen capture tools. We use Loom. I love Loom. It's super easy to use. You can insert I can't think of the word right now. Like, you can annotate it, so you can mark key points, like instead of breaking up the video into chapters. It also allows you to create, it automatically creates subtitles. So you've got your text going across there, so you've got words automatically. So that's a really great tool. But there are a couple of really fun tools. So Google Scribe is a tool that I have discovered really recently, which I am a Google fan, love the simplicity of Google. But Google Scribe, it's incredible. You set up your account, it's free. You hit the record button, then you do your computer-based process, and Google Scribe magically, with AI, just knows. They take your screenshots. If you're talking, they add the text, and then you can, once it's finished, you close off the recording, and then you jump back in, you can edit the pictures and the image, and then you can download the PDF. So that's a fabulous tool. Tango.com is also another one that does a similar thing. The exporting function is not quite as good. And then the other one that's amazing is Descript. And I know we've got to finish up, but we'll finish up on Descript.
That's all right, because you've actually moved into point 1 of the checklist, I think.
Oh,
So that's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Yep. So, because I mean, I think our first thing in the checklist was explore the tools, and you mentioned Loom, Sprint, Magnify, Google Scribe, and Tango. There you go.
Yay,
So
that's really good.
yep,
Okay.
So, yeah, we're into the checklist, everybody.
Very good. I do just want to throw this one last tool in though, because it's one that we've only been exploring recently. It's been around for a few years, but it's called Descript. It works in a similar way to Loom in that it's a screen capture video. It also captures your audio and turns that into subtitles. But then, amazingly, you can go back to the subtitles, and if you want to remove, you know how when you talk like I'm doing right now, it's just like blah, 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 just crap coming out of your mouth. And like, right, that's no good for a written instruction. So what you can do in Descript is go back in to the text, delete, and it snips the video out, so you're only left with the quality text and the quality part of the video that you need to use for the actual work instruction.
Oh, so that's amazing.
It's so incredible. So
and that means if you make something up and you actually stuff it up, you don't have to remake everything. You just cut the stuffed up bit out. And instead of having to go, oh, whoops, no, that's not right. You don't...
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's
which one was that one?
It's called Descript. Like description, but just Descript. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that one's amazing.
Yeah, it's a really, really great little tool. So yeah, they can make stuff fun.
Yeah, clearly these tools are being created to support exactly these kinds of challenges. Yeah,
which really goes to show what I really love is that when I started this work, process management was corporate speak. And it was all for the big companies with the 100, 150 employees. And now I'm so glad, because I've never been a corporate person. I've always been in small business in various ways. And now process management is coming to new, really practical and even fun ways for small business owners that have only got a team of 5 or 6. They're the people that they're working every day. You know, small businesses are Australia's largest employer. So we've got stacks of reason to be documenting processes. So yeah, we've got tools now that suit the small business owner for this very purpose. Oh, good, Lee, you're using it. Excellent. Yay.
Absolutely excellent. Okay, so we've started by going, these are some of the tools. So we're onto the checklist now.
That concludes the first part of this webinar. You can watch the full recording and download the checklist for this and all our Stop the Noise webinars in the BB4G Business Knowledge Bank Facebook group. It's free to join. Click the link below this video or go to www.facebook.com/groups/BB4G Knowledge Bank and click the Join Group button. The Stop the Noise webinar series is brought to you by the BB4G Business Advisors Alliance, a collective of small business service providers, specialists and advisors on a mission to ensure every small business owner has access to the knowledge, resources and support you need for your business to thrive in an ever-changing world.